Mama, I love you. P.O.P. all the time. Right, these are. Can't say that's wrong with getting away cold. But I cannot see, I'm legally blind. I did not drive. No, get away cold. I'm legally blind. So I'm a driver cold.
So what's going on, guys? I'm SuperRebel, and a legally blind gamer can finally enjoy more PS4 games. And you are probably thinking, what on earth have I just said? How does this all work out? Well, let's just continue into the video. So PlayStation 4's recent firmware update has a bunch of cool new features, but personally I hadn't heard of the new feature which goes by the name Zoom until I read this article and how it changed the way one player is able to experience their games. So over on the Giant Bomb forums, a user who goes by the name Sparky_Buzzsaw pointed out that he's legally blind, and he said, being legally blind doesn't mean I'm without sight. I still have some in my left eye, while my right eye is kind of a mess. I suffered a detached retina over a decade ago and it never quite healed right, despite the wonderful work done by my surgeon. On top of my already severe myopia, if I pronounced that right, I wasn't able to continue driving or enjoy some of the things I love the most. Now he can, however, continue to play video games, though it was so much easier in previous generations, before higher resolutions and HD TVs of course became a thing, because back then in-game text was absolutely huge, but not anymore. Now he did continue to say, I always hate being one of those people who bitches constantly about problems but never actually tries to do anything about it. So on numerous occasions I've reached out to various gaming developers and tried to get some changes happening. Usually my emails or comments were ignored. A few times, if the developer was small enough or had a large enough Q&AMPA team, I got a generic form response. Only a couple of times did I ever actually get a message through to a real person, and it always though ended up with a variation of, it's a problem we'd like to fix, but it only affects a vast minority of people, so etc etc. Now he did also point out how life has gotten easier in other regards. For example, iPads allow him to bring a screen up to his face and make the text gigantic, but modern games are still a problem. Now personally, I'm not legally blind or blind at all. In fact, I don't really know why I'd fake being blind, but I don't really have any issues in terms of my eyes, at least not that I know of anyway, but I still experience some problems when I am playing games such as GTA 5 or Battlefield, for example, the new one, Hardline. The text is pretty damn small, and the same is with Bloodborne as well. I don't know if you guys experience that. It could just generally be the screen I'm playing on. My TV isn't exactly the biggest, but it's okay for me because I personally prefer playing on smaller TVs rather than gigantic ones like a 42-inch TV or something like that. I just prefer smaller TVs, but I still have issues reading some of the text. But as I mentioned before, the new PS4 firmware introduces Zoom, and I personally think it's absolutely great. So heads up, do definitely go to Sony. It's something that I feel a lot of companies should do with their games as well, or just add some sort of feature that you can make the text bigger. It definitely does help a lot of people out, and I've never really heard of this in my life before about the Zoom option, and I just literally found out about it after I read this article. So it definitely will come in handy for me if you are somebody who does experience the same issues like Sparky, or you aren't exactly blind but you still kind of struggle sometimes to read the text considering how freaking small it is. It definitely is going to help you out a ton. But there is kind of a downfall to it, because on the forum Sparky did continue to say, I was excited to find the features also work in game as well, in any game. As I mentioned, you can't use it in an action intensive game because it won't allow you to control what's happening in game while you are using it, but for games with interfaces that can be read while the game is paused, like the menus in Borderlands or Dying Light, it works well. Gone are the days when I zoom in on the screen with a digital camera or my iPad and take a picture so I can read it. Now I can read what's happening on screen in game without much of any issue at all. So as I said, this is in fact one of the best things I think Sony have added, so well done. And that is it for the video. If you liked it, leave a like below. If you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video, but till then, adios amigos.